What's going on YouTube? This is InsiderLearner and you're watching Linux 101. Little brief about me. I am a security researcher who love to do VAPT in web application, mobile application, API and also love to create automation script to automate your complete process. Today, I'm going to share some basic of Linux as Linux is always be the first choice for the security researchers. So let's start with Linux 101 and I will be covering why we are using Linux and how to use Linux and what is the virtual machine on which you can use your Linux operating system. So after that, I will be showing you how to install the Ubuntu OS on virtual machine. And after that, I will be covering some basic Linux command that you should know when you are using Linux operating system or let's say Ubuntu operating system. So these are the contents that I will be covering in this video. So why Linux? As the title is saying, why we are using Linux operating system. So Linux operating system is an open source and anyone can use it for any type of work, not only for hacking or penetration testing. Along with the developer can also use this operating system to develop softwares. Most of the distros are free of cost. One of the most common Linux distro is Ubuntu, which is followed by Mint, Debian, and other operating system. Also, you can modify the Linux OS operating system, like distribute various aspects of the Linux-based OS without violating any copyright law or terms and conditions. I think this is the only reason why pen testers use Linux because they can easily develop softwares used for hacking and penetration testing. And for the developers, they can also use Linux operating system or Linux environment to create a softwares like more easily rather than in the Windows operating system. Linux OS like Kali Linux, Parrot, BlackArch are specially made for pen testing and checking security loopholes, often used for hacking also. They are made and maintained by developer forum and are always available to fix bugs. You just need to put your problem in the forum and your problem will be discussed by thousands of developers. They are secured and virus free and no antivirus needed. Linux is easy to use and there is a widespread myth that Linux is only for programmers and hackers, which I believe to be wrong. I have been using it for years and I am not a veteran programmer and I found it more convenient and user friendly than Windows. It doesn't require disk space, consume lesser RAM and processing utility, thus can be easily installed alongside with other OSs like OS X and Windows. Coming to our next title, how to use Linux. You can use Linux by following ways. Ubuntu applications from Microsoft Store or like install operating system on VirtualBox. You can use the cloud service provider, commonly EC2 instance and Oracle Cloud instance, or you can use the paid version of VMware like Workstation and Player also. So coming to our next title, what is virtual machine? So virtual machine is nothing but a virtual environment that works like a computer within a computer. It runs on an isolated partition of its host machine with its own resources like CPU power, memory, and other operating stuff that will be required to run an operating system. It allows end user to run multiple applications of different OS and different VM. And again, it is easy to use and easy to manage the multiple operating system at a particular time. Coming to our next title, which is how to install Ubuntu OS in VirtualBox. For downloading the Ubuntu iOS file, you need to click on Ubuntu desktop and then download the ISO file of Ubuntu 20.04 LTS version. Okay, so I have downloaded the ISO file already as it takes a lot of time. So for the VirtualBox, you need to go on this website and download it according to your host machine. If you are using Windows, then you need to download that Windows version of the VirtualBox. Also, I have downloaded and installed the VirtualBox already, so I'm skipping that part. So coming to our installation process or creating a virtual environment for the same. So you need to click on the new. and you need to type the name of your virtual machine. So I'm setting the name of my virtual machine is Ubuntu, and you need to select the version and type of the same. Click on next. Select the memory size as the recommended memory size will be 1024 memory for the Ubuntu OS. So click on next, and you need to click again next, and here you need to mention the disk size of your virtual machine. So I will be taking let's say 30 GB for the same, and you need to click on the create button. After creating the creating the virtual machine, you need to configure some of the settings for the same. So if you see on the journal section and click on the advanced section, so you need to select bidirectional for both, as you need to share the clipboard from the host machine to guest machine and drag and drop function from host to guest machine. Also, if you go on the system settings, then you need to select the processor that you are going to be set for the particular virtual machine. So I'm setting as 2. For the display, you need to like increase the video memory for the same, and here you need to mention the ISO file of that you have downloaded from the Ubuntu website. So here I selected the ISO file for the same, that is also commonly known as disk image file. Here I select the network adapter, and I select the bridge adapter for the same, and select the responsible adapter which providing me the internet for my host machine, and click on. So so after configuring your settings, you need to click on start button, and it will start your virtual machine that you have configured for your Ubuntu operating system. As you can see, it start the installation part for the Ubuntu operating system. It will take a little bit time to install the complete operating system on your VirtualBox environment. We have installed our Ubuntu operating system into the virtual machine successfully. So now let's talk about some basic command that you should know when you are using the Linux operating system. So I have divided some of the categories over the commands. So let's discuss with the first category, that is managing all the file system. So the Linux file system includes files and folders that comprise the system, and you can navigate this file system using Linux terminal as opposed to the GUI, and you can managing all the system through the terminal allows you to quickly and powerfully interact with the system. The following are some of the commands that could be used within this category. So our first command will be a pwd command, and this will show you where you are exactly working from within the system. So let's type in pwd command, and it will provide you the current working directory in which you are working right. Our next command is ls command. ls command will show you the content of the directory on which you are working right now. So let's type ls. So ls will display all the files contained in the current directory. And if we want to see the other information that is related to the inode, then we need to type ls-al, and here you can see the permissions, the read write permissions of the file, the user, the ownership and the group of that particular file, and the file name along with the creation of the time. Our next command is where is command. So where is command can be used to locate installed binary within the system. let's say if we want to let's say if we want to uh, find the snap binary which is installed in this system, then we will type where is and then along with the snap, and it will provide you the exact file path or exact location of the binary which is installed in the system. So our next command is locate. Locate command will use to find files within the system. So let's say if a file name include any word called snap, then it will show all the file location which include in the word snap file. So it will give you the file location where the snap is available. Our next command is cp command. So let's say if you want to copy one file from one directory to another, then you need to use cp command. So let's say if we want to copy first dot to our home directory, then it will copy your first.txt to the home directory. Now our second category is managing files within the system. And in that category, the first command is cat command. So cat command will output the content of a file. It can also be used to feed the content of a file into another file by combining it within the greater than operator. So let's say if you want to print the content of the first.txt file on the terminal, then you need to type like cat and the file name, and it will display all the content from the file. Our next command is head command. Head command will output the content of a file from the beginning, given output to the first 10 line only. And if we want to print first 10 line of the first.txt file, then we need to hit the command head followed by the file name, and it will display the first 10 line of the file. Now our next command is tail command. Tail command will display the last 10 line of the file. So here you can see the last 10 line of the file will be displayed when we use tail command. Our next command is grep command. So grep command is something like it can use to filter the content of a file to match a particular regex. Let's say if we want to find the hello word in the first.txt file, then we need to hit the command like this, and it will print all the hello which include in the particular line. Our next command is nano command. Program can be used to edit file contents. It is one of the available text editor operating from Linux terminal only. So if you want to change any of the data from the first.txt file, then you need to type nano and then first.txt, and you can remove some of the data from the file